Okay, here we are. We were dealing with this song written by John Donne, and we need to remember that John Donne composed a first collection of sonnets, which he called Holy Sonnets. Yes, you heard it right, holy, because the content of these first sonnets of his was mainly based on religion, on the opposition freedom versus bondage of the will. We went through some sonnets such as Butter My Heart, or For Whom the Bell Tolls, that is two sonnets dedicated to this life, to the afterlife, to man's salvation or damnation. We went through this idea of man's inability to choose right, to choose the good over what is not good. Man is slave to Satan. Man is a slave to evil, to God's enemy. So we saw that John Donne, who was an Anglican priest, he was the dean in St. Paul's Cathedral, asks God as a man, as a human being, he asks God to butter his heart, to literally use violence, because otherwise he will never open his heart. So the only way for a man to be saved is let God penetrate his heart violently, because the only way out is God's using violence. Now, a second collection of poems is entitled Songs and Sonnets. So we do not find the adjective holy, so we are now not dealing with religious, theological sonnets, but with songs and sonnets which may have any kind of content, of subject, of theme. I would like to present you a special, probably the best known poem written by John Donne, which is a song. So it's not a sonnet, it's not a 14-line poem, but it's a longer poem made up of 3 stanzas. This song is Go and Catch a Falling Star. So let us once again look at the structure of this song. So we have 3 stanzas. First stanza, go and catch a falling star, get with child a mandrake root, tell me where all past years are, or who cleft the devil's foot, teach me to hear mermaids singing, or to keep off envy's stinging, and find what wind. Look, I should pronounce wind, but in order to respect the rhyme scheme, I have to say, and find what wind serves to advance an honest mind. Okay, stanza 1. Stanza 1 is a list of orders. We have John Donne asking the reader, the listener, that is us, we are listening to him. She is asking us, she is asking the reader to perform some actions which are normally impossible to be done. It's impossible to catch a falling star. It's impossible for a lady to get pregnant. Get with child means get pregnant. It's impossible for a lady to get pregnant drinking a potion made with a mandrake root. No woman has ever become pregnant after drinking such a potion. Or she asks us to find out where all past years are, as if the past, the time that has passed, is stored, is saved somewhere in the universe. And she is asking us to find out where these past years might be. Or another impossible thing. Do you remember Ulysses? Ulysses was really afraid of the mermaids singing, because the myth says that when a sailor heard the mermaids singing, this sailor went mad, went crazy. He would drift in the ocean, no? And probably be drowned. So it was very dangerous to hear mermaids singing. And John Donne is asking us to teach him another impossible thing. Another request is teach me how to keep off. Keep off means avoid, to be far away from. Teach me how to live somehow free from envy. So envy is stinging, because envy is a human vice. People get envious when they envy other people's life. If you get something I would so badly like to have, but I can't, I envy you. And other people may envy us. It's very difficult to live keeping off envy, our envy and other people's envy. Okay, and finally, find what wind, I should say wind, find what wind serves to advance an honest mind. John Donne seems to be comparing our lives to some ships at sea. Ships are normally pushed, moved by the wind. It is as if John Donne were wondering, is there a special wind which is able to drive our ship, that is our life, to honesty? Is there a special wind we should follow in order to be honest, decent people? All these requests we found in stanza 1 are impossible to be performed. Let's have a look at stanza 2. If you were born to strange sights, things invisible to see. Okay, so stanza 2 opens up with a condition. John Donne is starting using this reductio ad absurdum strategy. John Donne starts posing unreal conditions. He says, okay, I know that what I am asking you is impossible, but suppose you were born able to catch a falling star, to tell me where past years are, to see invisible things, to see strange sights. That is, let's suppose you exist and you were born with special powers, the power to see invisible things and strange sights. Okay, if you were born able to do these things, I'm going to ask you something. I'm going to ask you to ride, that is, set off, travel, move away from here and travel. How long? 10,000 days and nights. It is approximately 30 years. 10,000 days and nights. So travel around the world for 30 years. What do you become after 30 years? You become an old man, an old woman. And in fact, she says, until age is old age, until old age, hairs, this is a verb, hairs on the snow white. Okay, until your hair is completely white, it means you are old. After 30 years traveling around the world, you are now old. And you have a lot of things to tell me, because you have been traveling for 30 years, number one. Number two, you're not a common man. You're a special kind of man. John Donne says, you were born, let's suppose you were born, you were born to see strange sights and invisible things. So once you return, when you return, you will tell me, thou wilt tell me, is Old English. In modern English, we would say, you will tell me. You will tell me about all the strange things, the strange wonders that happened. This verb, befall, means to happen. All the strange things that happened to you. Okay? Well, I can assure you, I can guarantee, I can swear that nowhere lives a woman true and fair. Also, that's what this poem is all about. This poem of John Donne's, that is song, is about the impossibility of meeting, finding a woman who is at the same time beautiful and honest. And you might be wondering, but what strange introduction we get? We get in stanza 1 a list of impossible things to be performed, and John Donne has never mentioned women, faithful women, beautiful women. Okay, stanza 2, it opens up with a strange, with an unreal condition. If there existed such a man, but I have never met a man like this, a man who is able to see invisible things. I have never met any man as such. Okay, well, he says, suppose this man exists, this special man, this Superman with special powers, and suppose he goes traveling for 30 years. I am sure, he says, I swear, nowhere, I swear, nowhere, beg your pardon, I swear, nowhere, he will find a woman who is at the same time true and fair. Okay, you may say, okay, that's it. John Donne made his point. It is clear what he wants to say. He doesn't trust beautiful women. He thinks that beautiful women are very likely to betray their man, their husband, their fiancé. It's very likely. Well, but he goes on, he insists, he pushes, and he says with another unreal condition. If you find one, if you find such a woman, if you find, I am sure you can't. I'm sure no such woman exists. But if you should find one, let me know, she says. Please tell me, immediately tell me that you have met such a woman who is at the same time true and fair. She says this lady would be like an angel, like a saint. And in fact, she says, let me know, because such a pilgrimage were sweet. I would turn to a pilgrim. I would come, I would walk to see her, this woman whom you have found. I would like to come and meet her. So please let me know. So you might wonder, so John Donne is open to the possibility that such a woman exists. A woman who is at the same time beautiful and trustworthy and faithful and honest. But what do we get here? Yet. This special word which normally introduces us to a volta, as Italians name it, to a turning point. He says, yet, do not what? Do not let me know. At first he asks the reader, the listener, that is me, you, us, she asks us, if you find such a woman, let me know. But in a second, he changes his mind and he says, do not tell me, do not let me know, because I would not go. Look, first he says, I would become a pilgrim. I would be glad to go on a pilgrimage, to come and meet, come and see this angel, this woman. It would be sweet to meet her. But in a moment, he changes his mind and he says, no, I would not go. Even though we might meet at next door. So even though she's just at a walking distance, even though I only had to walk for 10 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, she lives next door, right here. I would not come to meet her because even though she were true when you met her, please note that she doesn't say even though she was. This is a subjunctive form. Even though, even if she were, it means this is what we call a second conditional. Even though she were true, but I'm not sure, but I don't believe it. Even though, even if she were true, when you met her, so once again, reductio ad absurdum. Let us suppose, against logic, against reason, against reality, let us paradoxically suppose, absurdly suppose that such a woman exists. And she was true, honest, trustworthy when you met her. Well, till you write your letter, it means once you meet her, You're gonna tell me. So you need to sit back and write a letter. You need to write a letter to send it to me saying, come here, I found her, meet me at, and you give me the address, very likely, so that I can come and finally see this rare example of a beautiful and honest lady. It's gonna take time. Well, I would not come because before I come, she will be false. She will be false. She will be false before I come to 2 or 3 lovers, other men. It means while I am coming to meet her, she will have found 2 or 3 lovers to betray you with. So it's gonna be disappointing once again. Okay, I may also come and meet her, but this meeting is gonna be disappointing because in during the time you need to send for me, send a letter asking me to come. So you send for me. I need some time to come and see you and your friend, this lady friend of yours, this special woman. But in that in that length of time, she will have betrayed you twice or 3 times. So it's gonna be disappointing. So the message, it's not a moral message, and I'm not saying that I agree with what John Donne says, of course. It's not acceptable to say that if you are a beautiful lady, a desirable lady, this makes you a not trustworthy woman, a woman I should not trust only because you're beautiful and probably you have a lot of admirers, a lot of other men who want you, okay, who admire you. This is not enough to make you a woman who is not decent, honest. But John Donne is stating this idea of the impossibility to find a woman with these 2, we may say, qualities: beauty and honesty. According to him, a woman can't be at the same time true and fair. And okay, what's special about this song? That once again John Donne proves to be a metaphysical poet, not in the philosophical sense. Metaphysics is the study of things which go beyond nature. This is metaphysics. In this case, John Donne proves to be a metaphysical poet because once again he uses the so-called conceits, the use of paradox, the use of exaggeration. Look at these, look once again at these impossible things he asks. He asks me, you ask to catch a falling star. He asks a lady to get pregnant drinking a potion, to find out where the pastime is. All this is impossible to be performed. So he is preparing Okay, she's preparing this idea of impossibility. And what is the most impossible thing to do? Meeting a woman who is at the same time true and fair. So this is enough about this song. So once again, this song belongs to the second collection, so not the Holy Sonnets. This is the most famous, the best known song that we can find in the collection Songs and Sonnets.